So in the Dragon Ball Super, Z, and whole Dragon Ball universe, there's basically a race called the Shinjin. And if you don't know what those are, guys, those are basically the Supreme Kais or the Elder Kais and everything like that. Those guys, they're pretty famous in the series. There's not that many of them either. There's roughly 80 of them that we know of, or maybe less, of course. There's less of that we know of, but there's roughly 80 to be estimated to be in this series. Now, the most famous one that we know of is Zamasu, and then there's also Supreme Kai. There's King Kai and stuff like that. There's like the North, South, East, and West Kais and everything. But before I get into this race and how it could be added to Dragon Ball Z Final Stand, I need you to do me a favor, guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think could happen to this race. What do you think the stats should be? The stats, guys, okay? Because I'm going to talk about that later, what they should look like, what your opinion is, and everything like that. Follow me on Twitter at Roball01 as well. Links to everything you need are down below, as well as the merch going off sale at the end of the month. So, first things first is the history on this race, guys. The Kaiju is basically a tree, or the world tree, that's on their planet, Kaishin. That's the Kai planet. On Kaishin, there's a tree called the Kaiju that basically has these apple-shaped fruits, and these apple fruits basically give birth to the Shinjin, which is the race that we're talking about, the Kai race. Now, with the Shinjin, because of this apple fruit, there's different types of apple fruits. Now, because of these apple fruits, we have different types of Kais and everything like that. And evil Shinjin are born from like different things from the fruit, and they're cast into the demon realm and stuff like that. Now, the closest thing that we have to like a demon Kai basically is Zamasu, of course, but we're not going to say that for sure. We're not going to say that right now. Now, when it comes to the fruit, guys, depending on the fruit, you become a different type of Kai. Now, if you're a Kai that has white hair, you will be like a Supreme Kai, basically, like those Kais. And that's the type of Kai that I want added to the game. Those type of Kais, the ones with the white hairs, nothing else. I don't think the ones that look like North Kai, South Kai, East Kai, and everything like that. I don't think those guys matter. I don't think those guys matter because they're not really that important. They're not that important. Like King Kai, nobody wants to be like him. Everyone wants to look like Supreme Kai and Zamasu and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about those guys, okay? Now, when it comes to this race, everybody, how I think it should look like is that the player could like select between different skin colors. They could select green, purple, maybe blue, maybe red as well. We've had different Kais with different colors. We've had the ones with red, we've had the ones with a little bit of purple. We've also had some with blue, I think, with also some with like green and stuff like that, like Zamasu. Now, when it comes to this race, their white hair, I think that should stick by every single time. I don't care what type of hair they have, as long as they keep that white hair, I think it'll make sense for them to look just like that. Now, on to the race itself, guys, and how it could work and what they could look like, I've already described, but how it can work, guys, how I think their stat points could work and the transformations. Now, first things first, guys, okay? The first thing I want to say is that I think this race should major in ki damage and health max, because these guys, when they fought Gohan in like the Dragon Ball Z series, they wanted to test his ki. So it seems like they could have handled him in ki, not martial arts. So I think they're more of a ki damage type of race. And then also I think they should major in health max because they seem like they can take a bunch of hits, if not because of their Potara earrings, but because they seem like a race that can take damage, because we've seen Zamasu take some damage, you know? Now, another thing I forget to describe in most of my videos is the stat points they get per level. I think they should get 1 stat point every 2 levels. Now, it could be either be that, or it could be every 2 levels, depending on what you guys think. So tell me down below in the comment section, do you think it should be 1 every 1 level, 1 every 2 level, or 1 every 3 level? 1 every 4 is a little bit too high. Now, on to the transformations, everybody. So the first transformation I think should be added for this race is called the Super Kai. Now, these transformations, you might remember them from my previous video where I said races that could be added to Final Stand. I made a video on that, and they had this race in it, but with this one, I'm going to change it up a little bit, add some more information, add the stats and everything. So, the first thing I think should be added is Super Kai. Super Kai will have a level requirement of 50 and get 50 stat points to everything but health max and ki max, similar to the Saiyan Super Saiyan 1. It's basically like that. I think the way it should look is basically a white aura, nothing too special at all. Now, the next transformation, guys, is Supreme Kai. That is the next transformation that I think should be added. And I think with this transformation, the hair for the player should be spiked up like a Super Saiyan, but it should be like a mohawk or like a really like large hair, depending on which type of hair they choose. And then I also think that the level requirement for this should be level 100 and stat points 100 to everything but health max and ki max. So when it comes to this transformation, I think it should also have the white aura, but I also think that the white aura should maybe be a little bit bigger and have a little bit of a tint depending on their skin colors. Like, if they have purple skin, it'd have purple tint. If it was blue skin, they'd have blue tint. If it was red skin, they'd have a red tint. That way it looks different for each Kai, and it'll look a little bit more special in my opinion. Now on to the next transformation, which I want to dub God Kai. God Kai is basically the next step from Supreme Kai, and I think the way it should look is the player. The hair goes back down, it's normal, but then their aura turns to the color of their skin. If I had purple, it'd be like a light purple. If I had blue, it'd be like a light blue. If I have a red, it'd be like a light red. And if I had a green, it'd be like a light green or a neon green. So with this, guys, I think the God Kai would be pretty cool because it makes the Kai seem like they're a little bit more powerful and they could blend in with other races with their transformations looking all spiffy and stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. Now, for this, guys, maybe if their eye colors change and stuff like that, so they got like the glowing eyes like Namekians, I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe like their eyes turn pure white or they turn like pure yellow or blue or something like that. That way it seems like they're actually having key energy within them, which would look pretty cool, to be honest. What do you guys think? Tell me down below. Now, the stats for this, I think the level requirement should be level 250, but the stats should be a little bit lower. I think it should be 235 stats. That way we don't seem like they're just getting the same stat points for every level, so it's not too powerful, but still not too weak, because if they're getting 1 stat point for every 2 levels, they're going to be a little bit more powerful than other races. So I think the stat points for each transformation should be a little bit lower, guys. So 235 for level 250, so the stat points are 235 for that. Now on to the next transformation. The final form for this race, guys, is the Demon Kai. I mentioned it briefly in the beginning of the video, with Zamasu being considered like a demon to some people. So when it comes to this transformation, I think this should look like this, guys, okay? We have Demon Namekian in game. They have basically like the watermelon skin or like eyes and stuff like that. But I think how it should work, it should be similar to the cooler form. I think they should get like horns, and they should also get wings on their back. That way they look a little bit cooler. That way they look like an actual, like, not really demon, but like more like they've changed their form and everything like that. And I think the way this should look, I think it should depend on their skin color for the wings, but the aura should not be there anymore. I don't think they should have an aura anymore, and if they do, it'd be really small, or it'd just be pure white, or it'd be the color of the skin, like I mentioned earlier. The hair shouldn't change in my opinion, but I really hope they have glowing eyes for this one too, because that would be pretty sick as well. Now, for the stat points, I think the level requirement should be level 375, a little bit higher than God Kai, 125 higher. The other one was like 150 higher, but this one's a little bit lower. And I think with the level requirement of 375, I think the stat points should be 375 to everything, just to match the level for this one. That way it's not a little bit weak, but it's not too strong either. So it matches up with the level. That way Demon Kai isn't too overpowered, but not too weak. And players would use it if it were added to the game. Now, next, guys, I want to talk about is something a little bit different than what I do in most of my videos. I mentioned prestige forms in some of the race idea videos, but not in all of them. Now for this one, guys, I want to mention this one because I think it's a good idea. I just came up with it, guys. Now, in the Kais, I forgot to mention in the beginning, the Shinjin race, we have a Kai that's like the god, the Elder Kai, whatever, of time. The Supreme Kai of Time, that's what it's called. Her name is Kronoa. And she's basically the Supreme Kai of Time, and she looks pretty cool. She was featured in a lot of Dragon Ball Xenoverse games and in the manga for the Time Patrol. Now when it comes to her, she looks pretty cool. But when I was looking on Google Images, I found this person that looks similar to her. I don't know if it's her, guys, but tell me if it is true. It was in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and she basically looks like this, and she has the power of time, and it says Power of Time Unleashed on her little caption, and I think it looks pretty cool. I think for this new form, guys, I think it should be called the Supreme Kai, or not Supreme Kai, sorry. I think it should be called Time Kai, or Supreme Time, or something like that. And when it comes to this, and it would replace the demon form, of course, because it's a prestige form. But when it comes to this, I think they should get that little, like, big halo spiky thing on their back that glows, that looks just like the one in the image, guys. And we've seen Zamasu have the same thing. And when it comes to Zamasu having it, Fuse Zamasu, I think when it comes to that, that could also be the same thing, basically like being different. So it'd be pretty cool if it was like a time version of that, because Zamasu did travel through time a little bit. So it made sense, it would make sense in my opinion for the race to get that. But if not, I think the Zamasu version would be cool for the demon form, and then the time version would be cool for the new prestige form added to this race. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a cool idea, adding these transformations? Because I really like these images that I saw. They look pretty cool for this race, and I think the Shinjin race is possible, a lot more possible than the Jiren and Beerus race, because we know a lot more about them. We know that they react well to the Potara earrings, so if they were added, Potara could be added, and we know that their race is already in game with the Elder Kai being an NPC in the game, so it's possible that he's added or the race is added itself. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what you thought about the video, and tell me your ideas, guys. I want to know if you want more videos like this, guys, so if you do, comment it down below, comment your ideas, and I might make a video on it. So guys, till then, it's been your man Roball. Oh, quick, follow me on Twitter at Roball01, and join my Discord chat, link is down below. Everything's linked down below, and cop the merch going off sale in 15 days or less, guys. But make sure you get it before the 30th is over, guys, of April. Till then, it's been your man Roball, guys. I'm going to be signing out now, and I'll see you guys in the next Final Stand video. Peace, guys.